It is all about gold. It's a gold rush here in Indianapolis for the vacated Women's World Championship. Naomi ruled WWE. She won the Money in the Bank. She took her time. She cashed it in. She became the Women's World Champion. But things happen, and Naomi is going to become a mother. And congratulations to her and Jimmy Uso. Meanwhile, going on in the ring, it's Io Sky, it's Stephanie Vaquer. Both of these women made their mark all around the world. These two were international stars before finding their spot in WWE. Stephanie Vaquer making her name known in Mexico. For Io Sky, became very popular in Japan before coming to WWE. Of course, Io Sky has had bigger matches in WWE than Stephanie Vaquer, having been the longer tenured superstar in this match. Stephanie Vaquer has been waiting for her opportunity to challenge for the Women's World Championship and having to deal with Adam Pearce. And he said, you're going to get your match. And then here we are, two of the very best that not just women's wrestling, but pro wrestling has to offer today in Stephanie Vaquer, who once upon a time, last couple years, was the hottest free agent on the market. WWE scooped her up. She made her mark in NXT. She won the biggest prize, and here she is on a premium live event, Wrestlepalooza, tens of thousands of people. It's a big opportunity for Vaquer to strike gold, win the Women's World Championship, and take the ball, leave it in her court. Look at all these roll-ups from these two superstars. Eddie Arango might as well be bouncing all over the place, along with them having to count all these pinfalls. These two have locked eyes as they work back up. Sky, nice backdrop from Vaquer. Oh. Io Sky preventing a devil's kiss attempt. Nice arm drag there from Io Sky. We're seeing a bit of a back and forth. Athleticism of Io Sky shown on display. Nice drop kick to Vaquer. And Io Sky is in the driver's seat. And she's calling for gold. She wants the gold back that was quote unquote stolen from her. That was taken from her via Naomi's cash-in after Io Sky had been champion for 245 days before it was her and Rhea Ripley one-on-one. And wouldn't you know, who won the pony? It was none other than Naomi, who would take her time to cash in. Well, who took her time, but didn't. Let's put it this way. Naomi waited for the right moment to cash in her Money in the Bank briefcase. Unfortunately, life, as I mentioned, life always has another plan. You never know what life is going to throw at you, and you always have to be ready. But Naomi said, she comes back, title's going to be hers. Right now, that title will belong to either one of these two women, as the vacated title will find a new owner once this match is all set and done. Oh, look at this from Vaquer. The damage has been done. The rope break was forced. Great strategy from Vaquer. Vaquer, who is the fresher of the two. And I don't mean that in the sense of who has more energy in this match. We haven't been exposed to Stephanie Vaquer like we have with Io Sky. We've seen Io Sky compete at the highest level, like I mentioned earlier. So there is so much to see from Vaquer and what she has to offer. This is only the beginning of her career with the WWE. She's already had a hot start. We've already seen what she can do as what we saw during her time in NXT. Now it's time to see what she can do when the real pressure is on. The pressure is higher than ever. Once you get to the top, you got to hold that pressure and just live with it when you have to stay at the top. This is the top. Create the benchmark. Raise the benchmark. However, Io Sky always seems to top herself every time we see in the ring. Io Sky always finds a way to pull out a new bag of tricks. Now, for Io Sky, she's been dealing with a lot, not just with heading into this huge world title match between herself and her opponent, Stephanie Vaquer. Look at this ruthless submission, but she's been dealing with a lot with the issues between her friend Asuka and Rhea Ripley, who she's become allied with recently, and having to deal with the breakup of the alliance, and Rhea having to kind of understand it's been a weird triangle, to say the least. Io has it hooked. Nice backbreaker and a knee to the spine. But both women go down after that knee, that vicious knee to the spine of Vaquer. Now, whichever woman gets up first has the opportunity to take control of this match. We're at Cambridge Field House in Indianapolis. We're about to crown a new women's world champion. Well, rather, we're in the process of crowning one. With WWE being on ESPN now, it's a huge opportunity to put yourself on the front page for one of these two women to expand beyond their wildest dreams into not just the world of WWE, but just into the world in it of itself. Nice missile drop kick. And Io Sky showing why she's the genius of the sky as she gets ready to fly. Io getting the capacity crowd all hyped up as she soars and she scores with a suicide dive. Taking out Vaquer. Stephanie Vaquer laid out by that suicide dive. Now it's a matter of getting you and your opponent back into the ring. Io Sky back in the ring. Let's not forget, we were here for the Royal Rumble earlier this year. Now here we are for Wrestlepalooza. Indianapolis continuing to grow as a massive town for WWE. And they're showing up and they're showing out, much like the WWE superstars, the men and the women, including these two, Io Sky and Stephanie Vaquer, who are showing up and showing out to prove who is the best, who is worthy of being women's world champion. Nice cross body, springing and laying out Io Sky. Now it's time for Vaquer. Can she capitalize on this and continue the momentum? Vaquer up and over, springs up. Nice cross body. Sky gets caught. It could be time. Nice suplex. Nice snap on that too. Vaquer, a true technician in the ring. Io Sky, genius of the sky, very agile. Likes to take risks. Io Sky had a response with a German suplex. Nice duck under from Vaquer, who responded with a German suplex of her own. Both women are dishing it out. Both women are offering what they have in their box of tools. A lot of people play checkers. When it comes to big matches like these, you gotta play chess. But who is the better player? It's like watching Bobby Fischer and Magnus Carlsen in terms of pro wrestling, in terms of these two competing for the big world championship. The very best. Boom, what a massive forearm and a response from Io Sky. But Io Sky gets laid out with a backdrop suplex from Vaquer. Talk about living vicariously, doing what it takes. Meanwhile, once again, Devil's Kiss attempt blocked by Sky. Sky with a submission hold. Nice crossface. No woman's land for Stephanie Vaquer, who's caught in the center of the ring. Vaquer, of course, I mentioned earlier that she's a technician. She's going to work her way to find some relief to break free of this hold. And she does, but runs right into the knee of Io Sky. Absolutely brutal. The genius of the Sky going to where she feels most at home, but gets pulled down by Vaquer. Oh! That was a nasty dragon screw. That's going to do a lot of damage to the leg. And that is where the fun begins. That's where the momentum will start to shift. The ACL, the MCL, the meniscus, it's all there. All the ligaments. She was looking for the SVP. But Io Sky able to break free. Sky, look at this opportunity for Sky to regain the world championship. Instead, there comes a kick for Vaquer. It is back and forth and back and forth. It's hard to get a finger on the pulse on whose game it really is. Besides the fact that we saw LA Knight previously being a special guest referee in the tag team match. You see, get a shot of that Women's World Championship, that beautiful gold title with that white strap. That is what you want to hold. Io Sky calling her shot, trying to get some feeling back into her knee after that brutal dragon screw. Will it affect her over the moonsault? And it does. Boots up from Vaquer. This is a perfect opportunity for Vaquer. It's only as perfect as her ability to capitalize on it, though. And more damage is done with that aggressive dragon screw. These are some of the most aggressive dragon screws I have ever seen. It's down, up, and down we go. Bouncy, bouncy. This is what a devil's kiss is like. I'll tell you what, Booker would be loving this right now if he was here to join me in Indianapolis. Boom. There's that knee to the spine for the Women's World Championship. But Sky survives. I have no idea. I'm scratching my head at the thought of how Io Sky just kicked out. The Stephanie Vaquer bomb, SV kicked out. Well, Io Sky kicked out, rather, of the SVB. Io Sky, who is doing everything she can to fight through the pain, the immense struggle, the pain. You just have to fight through, because what is at the end of the tunnel, what is there if you win, it's so sweet. It is so glorious. And Io Sky, being a former multi-time women's world champion, she knows what that feeling is like. And once you get it, it's like a drug. You want it again and again. You never want that feeling to go away. And Io Sky's willing to do whatever it takes. Spanish fly goes through, but the knee making it a little bit more difficult for Io Sky to get full effectiveness on the capitalization, allowing Vaquer to kick out just before the 3. These two women are just dishing it out, not holding back whatsoever, and you just can't afford to do that. It's a matter of pushing through the pain. When times are hard, you continue to push through. And the knees are going to be exposed. We know what's coming. Bullet train. Bullet train lined up, landed. Io Sky fighting some feeling in her knee, and there it is. A running knee as she leads up to the end. Getting Vaquer into position. She will make her climb. And will this be the climb to Mount Everest? To the top of the mountain. But the over the moonsault misses. First it was blocked. The first attempt was blocked by Vaquer. This time, Vaquer got out of the way. And now Vaquer is up on the top. Look at a version of a spiral tap. We got a new Women's World Champion. It's Stephanie Vaquer. La Primera is champion. Congratulations to Stephanie Vaquer. A very interesting take on a spiral tap. Closed it out. A new addition to the playbook. Stephanie Vaquer can fly. In the biggest match of her life, she pulled out all the stops. There was a Spanish fly from Io Sky, but the damage to the knee couldn't allow her to fully capitalize. Then the knee that kept the momentum, still trying to go, but the over the moonsault, Stephanie Vaquer got out of the way. And then this interesting spiral tap, a move made famous by the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. Stephanie Vaquer went living, as I mentioned, vicariously. And she outsmarted the genius of the sky, going to the sky with her own moveset, as these two show a sign of respect to each other. What a show of sportsmanship. A huge women's world title match, and Io Sky hands the world title over to Stephanie Vaquer, as Stephanie Vaquer will rule the women's division on Raw. Vaquer has won gold everywhere she's been, and now she's on top of the world in WWE. Congratulations to Stephanie Vaquer, who is your brand new Women's World Champion.